Welcome. I'm Cesar Rondina, and welcome to the May video blog post edition of The Author's Pen. Before we get started on tonight's topic, Creatures of Habit, I'd like to announce that my new course on the Udemy platform is now available. It's available at an introductory price. The course is Key to Customer Service, What Sets You Apart. It's a 5-module course. It lasts approximately 3 hours. And at the end of the course, you could print out a nice certificate of completion that you could hang on a wall in your office. It's geared towards brick and mortar store managers, store owners, sales staff, and team members. And it's all about providing excellent customer service, which I happen to believe is lacking in today's retail market. So with that, you can look at the label on the screen here, or the card on the screen, and all you do is go to udemy.com, udemy.com, and type my name in the search bar, Cesar Rondina, and you'll be able to view my courses. And you'll be able to see the key to customer service and look at a preview of the course. So with that said, let's move on to the topic this month of creatures of habit. That's exactly what we are. We are all creatures of habit. I am, you are, your family members are, your friends are. You know, I've said this in posts before, coming from the fire service and medical public service field. I know a slew of police officers, and they've always said, we never worry about the everyday people because they're creatures of habit. They leave their house. They take the same route to work every day. They stop at the same coffee shop. They usually stop there at the same time every single day. And those are the easiest people to catch. It's the criminals that are different because they constantly change what they do. So, am I saying that we should change what we do? No, that's not the purpose of the topic of this month's video blog post. But the problem with being creatures of habit, and I'm sure you all go through this because I know at times I have, you think your life is boring and you say, oh my God, I got to do something different. My friends are doing this. People are traveling. My family's going here. They're going there. And what am I doing? I go to work every day. I come home, I eat, and I sit on the couch and I watch TV. The more you do something on a routine basis, the more it becomes a habit. And like any other habit, it's difficult to break. So the key to not becoming a creature of habit is not to get into a habit. People become complacent, and you need to mix up your life a little bit. Times economically are difficult for people, and not everybody could afford to take a cruise, go to Italy, go to Aruba, go to Cancun, go to some exotic getaway. And then there's people that do nothing but work and save to do that. They have timeshares and different things, but they're constantly mixing up their life is the point that I'm trying to make. So they don't necessarily become creatures of habit. They always have something to look forward to, like that goal. 3 months from now, I'm going on a cruise, and then next year I'm going to Aruba, or whatever your plans may be. I live in a wonderful state. I moved from Connecticut. I moved to Florida. Today's a beautiful day. It's breezy, low humidity, and there's tons of things to do in Florida. A lot of places to go, a lot of places to visit. Now, economically speaking, sometimes for many people that's very, very difficult to do. With the lifestyle that I lead, sometimes that's very, very difficult to do. I constantly get emails from people asking me, gee, what goes into writing a blog post every single week or producing a video blog post once a month? And next month, I'm actually going to do a behind-the-scenes look as to really what it takes to produce The Author's Pen on a monthly basis. It's very, very time-consuming. That involved with the courses that I write, that I promote, that I sell, and the teaching that I do, along with writing books, articles for magazines, and things of that nature, I have a pretty full schedule. And oftentimes it could run 7 days a week, depending on what my deadlines are. And honestly, if I get a little lazy, how far behind I get on doing things, and now I need to buckle down and catch up. But even with me, I found, many, many times in my life that you begin to get very complacent. You're working too much, you get tired, and it's just easier to stay home and not go out and get yourself out there and interact with other people. And then you fall into this rut. And once you get into that rut, and now you've become this creature of habit, it's a rut that's very, very difficult to get out of. I know I struggled with that about probably 3 or 4 years ago, as many did during the pandemic. The pandemic was bad for numerous reasons. Obviously the countless number of people that we lost and passed away due to the pandemic is certainly the biggest tragedy of the pandemic. But the other tragedy was, with all the lockdowns, is people were home. They were stuck home. Depending on where you lived, at the time I lived in Connecticut, and everything that was non-essential just was closed. So there was really nothing to do but stay home and binge watch Hulu, Netflix, or Sling TV, or whatever it is you watch on TV. So I found that in a very short period of time, I felt like I was in a rut, like my whole life had changed. I went from this active lifestyle down to like doing nothing but being a couch potato. Put on weight, had to get back in the gym, start exercising, walking again, and, being more active. And that's very, very difficult to do once you become complacent. So the trick to it is don't become complacent. There's many, many things in life that we can do that don't necessarily cost a lot of money. You don't always have to go to a fancy restaurant and spend $250 for dinner for 2 people. Down here in Florida, I have a couple of, nice little mom and pop kind of pizza restaurants that are like, one step above your just general pizza restaurant. And their food is excellent, and it's very inexpensive. Getting a ride, taking the car for a ride down by the beach, or driving down by the water. Now, I know that's difficult with gas prices. I own a truck. My truck loves gas stations. It's very, very happy when it has to stop at one 2 or 3 times a week. So, but you don't have to spend a lot of money to get out and enjoy life. It's good for your physical health, but even more so, it's good for your mental health. People are under a lot of pressure at work. I know my job could be very pressuring at times, and it's my own business. It's what I do. It's what I love. But even with that, when you have to deal with deadlines and things aren't working properly, you don't like the way a video tutorial came out and you have to re-record it, and you're just not in the mood. And the thing about what I do when it comes to writing is it's all about your frame of mind. Your environment has to be comfortable. You have to be comfortable in the environment that you're working in. And you have to be disciplined. You're not punching a clock. Yes, you have the ability to say, I don't feel like doing it today, I'm not going to. But then you start getting behind. So there's got to be some regimentation to what you do. Some order, some structure. But you have to mix it up. All right? You have to mix it up. I don't even care if it's going to sit down by the pool somewhere or go hang out down the beach just to get out of your house. There's things that you could do to stay active that you don't have to spend a week's paycheck to do. But the thing is, you have to do them. You have to not become complacent and not become a creature of habit. And that's one of the biggest downfalls of our society, is people just become creatures of habit. I get emails from people from time to time, complain, my life is boring, there's nothing to do. Look, I have to admit, when I was younger, when I was in my 20s and my 30s, there was always something to do. Um, I used to get up in the morning and go to work and come home, have a bite to eat, go out and not get home till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and get up for work at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and go do it again the following day. Granted, when you're younger, you have the energy to do that kind of thing. Not so much as you get older. But just because you get older, it does not mean that you shouldn't live some type of active life and not mix up your life a little bit. Because there's many things you avoid. Like I said, it keeps you in a better frame of mind. It keeps you healthier. And what it does really avoid is what we call a mild state of clinical depression. Because after a while you just look at your life and you say, oh my God, what, I don't do anything. There's nothing to my life. I go to work, I come home, I eat, watch TV, I go to sleep, I get up and I do it the next day. And on your 2 days off, you're working around the house or just hanging out wondering, what should I do? There's a lot to do. Look around your community. There's always community events going on in just about every community. Look at your community calendar. Get out. Do some things. Breathe the fresh air. Listen, I moved to Florida because I got sick and tired of the winter. I got sick and tired of dealing with the cold and the snow. And, I like my vehicles to stay nice and clean. I like using my boat 12 months a year versus just 4 months a year, or riding my motorcycle, whatever the case may be. So that, in between the political climate in Connecticut, which was just getting completely out of control, it was time for me to make a move. Now, I am not a fan of humidity at all. I don't mind the heat. I cannot stand the humidity. I hate that sticky feeling when you touch your skin and it's just like yucky. You feel like you need to take a shower every 10 minutes. So when you do take a shower and you go out, you feel like you need to take another one in another 10 minutes. So do I cherish the 4 months of that in Florida? No. So I tend to live in the air conditioning. But everywhere you go in Florida, it's air conditioned. So you go from your air conditioned house to your air conditioned car to wherever you're going, which is air conditioned. So in the wintertime is when I spend my time down the beach and out going to some of the quaint little towns and doing my activities, more active activities outside, let's say. During the winter months when the humidity isn't there and the temperature is a little bit better. So my point is, there's always ways around it. There's always ways not to become complacent. There's always ways not to become a creature of habit. Yes, there are some things in life that are going to be habitual. Going to work 5 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, however it is you work. Yeah, there's going to be some things that are going to be habitual. But if you make your private time away from work so habitual, then there's no variety. So where's the spice in your life? And you have to have some spice in your life. Like I said, it keeps you physically healthy, and more so, it keeps you mentally healthy. You get to interact with other people. See the way other people do things. Listen to other views. I say that I sit in front of my computer screens, and I've got 5 of them here. Because while I'm working, I'll watch the different news media stations. And I've said this multiple times, there's one that I watch more than others because I just happen to think that's just more fair and unbiased. But I watch them all because I want to know what's going on in the world. I want to know the different views. And then I can be informed and I can make my decisions properly. Informed decisions. And then I get out and I do things. I put that stuff away. And I try to live an active lifestyle. So I don't become necessarily a creature of habit. I find that to be very mentally challenging, and it's great for my own personal mental health, and I find it also very rewarding. So if you want to avoid being a creature of habit, mix it up a little bit. Mix up your life a little bit. Don't do the same mundane routine every single day. Change it up. I think you're going to find that you'll enjoy your life more. I think you'll find that you'll find other things to do. You may also find new activities that you enjoy to do. So that's what this topic is all about. Just to try and get yourself, especially in the world in which we live today, out of this mental syndrome that so many people are in, where we have become creatures of habit and we just feel kind of lost in the world. Well, don't feel lost in the world. Get out in the world. Be active. And then that will become your new habit. That will become your new way of living, your new way of doing things. So with that, thank you for viewing my post this month. I hope it gave you some things to think about. And like I said, next month, I'm considering kind of doing a behind the scenes look at what it takes to produce the author's pen and answer some of those questions for people if I have time. It's a quite lengthy process to try and show all of that. So we'll see what happens. I do have some other guest blog posts coming up. And again, as a reminder, check out my new course and check out my other courses. There might be things of interest for you there. In the courses that I do courses on self-help topics, primarily business topics, and writing courses for those aspiring writers. So you might find something there that's interesting. They're all very, very affordable. And there's oftentimes promotion running. Like I said, right now with the new course, there's a 50% off introductory price going on for it. So now would be an ideal time to preview it. And if it suits your line of business, I think you'll get something out of it. So with that, remember the 3 things that I say are the most important things in life. Live with an open heart, live with an open mind, and live your best life. And with that, be safe, stay well, and again, subscribe to my blog, subscribe to my video channels, and enjoy. Thank you.